We're going to start right here with Shadow of Ezra. Hillary Clinton holds a press conference declaring herself a victim after being questioned about Pizzagate, UFOs, and child trafficking under her deposition. She says Pizzagate is one of the most bogus conspiracy theories ever created. Arrest Hillary Clinton immediately. I wonder if some of the Hillary Clinton emails, the 33,000 emails that mysteriously disappeared, what if that might have been called into question? Maybe that's where Pizzagate came from. So let's give this a watch.
It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs.
Get a little hot under the collar.
A series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed.
Okay. So, yeah, UFOs, Pizzagate. Well, you know what? Spoiler alert. They expect to release the full transcript of Hillary Clinton's deposition and the full deposition video within the next 24 hours. So we'll get to hear about all this UFO and Pizzagate nonsense, whether if she was completely bullshitting or if they actually did question her on stuff like that. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And we've got this one. This is her full statement. It's a bit longer. I figured I'd start with this one just because I'm sure it just highlights the, like the main point of what she was getting at. But I'll play this video regardless. Disclosed.tv. Hillary Clinton speaks after her Epstein deposition. So we'll give this a watch.
Good evening. Well, I have just finished testifying. I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could. Based on what I knew, and what I knew is what I said in my statement this morning.
Liar.
I
know
never
she's
met
lying.
Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance, but whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond. It was disappointing that they refused to hold a public hearing, so I wouldn't have to be out here characterizing it for you. You could have seen it for yourself. We had asked for that. We think it would have been better for the committee and its efforts to gather whatever information they are seeking. We had a bit of a challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing at their demand, and one of the members violated that rule, which was very upsetting because it suggested that they might violate other of our agreements. So we had to cease the hearing for a period of time until we could get assurances that no rules would be broken going forward, and we returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was... I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed. And in fact, the Republican members.
Well, how do you know that? Were you in all the depositions?
For the deposition of Les Wexner. And when I said that, I had to point out that the only questions that any Republican member asked of any of the people they deposed was of former Attorney General Bill Barr when Chairman Comer asked him about
what does this have to do with you?
The allegations, in his view,
See how
about
she's deflecting?
Russia's involvement in my election in 2016. So
Which has nothing to do with
at the very
anything.
end
Who
of
gives a
this
shit?
Hearing, after I made
You just
that
can't let that go
point,
now, can she?
I want to commend Chairman Comer for raising.
Why don't you release the emails, Hillary Clinton? Release the 33,000 emails.
Significant questions that I.
That probably has a lot of
responded
damning
to
information with
about
regard to
the
Jeffrey
nature
Epstein.
of the investigation.
Maybe that's why
and
she
the
really
areas
destroyed them.
that
With
I
bleach
thought
bit,
should be
acid wash.
explored. So I appreciated that. I want to see the truth come out. So that was a reassuring
Oh, so you want your husband
way
to be thrown in
end,
prison? Because that would be
a
the
very
truth.
long, repetitive.
But that would be the consequence of the truth coming out. So she knew Ghislaine Maxwell personally, casually, but Ghislaine Maxwell never talked to her about what they were doing. Her husband never talked to her about anything. The dozens of times Bill Clinton flew with Epstein, the collective months that they spent together doing what we already knew that they were really doing, nothing whatsoever was communicated to her at all. She just knew absolutely nothing. And so maybe she was invoking some spousal privilege or something. I'm not sure if that's an issue or not. Maybe that's the rule. That one rule that she kept referencing, she kept referring to, the rule that she won't talk about what her husband communicated to her. I don't know, but we should be getting the full video over the weekend. I'm assuming perhaps we will end up finding out exactly what this rule is that she keeps alluding to. I don't know why. She was right there at the podium. She wanted to waste time talking about 2016 when she could have just referred to what that rule was. I don't know why she didn't refer to that rule, because we're just going to end up finding out regardless. So this is her statement. I'm not going to read through it, but I already did repost it, but I'll repost it once more just so it shoots up to the top of my profile. There's a direct link to my profile down below in the description, or you can go straight to Hillary Clinton's profile. It'll be there at Hillary Clinton. She posted this, 11:08 a.m., February 26th. I skimmed through it. She deflects to Trump. She mentions like Trump's in the Epstein files thousands of times. Why haven't you deposed him yet? And then she talks about how she's an advocate for human trafficking. She doesn't really mention her husband at all. She talks about her work as Secretary of State and yada, yada. So you can read it for yourself. It's 4 pages in total. Again, that's her opening statement to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee today. And one thing that I want to know is her husband, Bill Clinton, is he going to put out a statement like this? I have a feeling he's not going to be, because I bet he's got a lot more damning information against him, which we already know, including that infamous hot tub image that was released somewhat recently. I think that was part of the Epstein files dump, with him just chillaxing in a hot tub at the Jeffrey Epstein estate. And of course, there were other clearly questionable images showing Bill Clinton with Jeffrey Epstein that was released from the files. So that should be quite interesting. And again, he's going to be deposed tomorrow if he shows up. I'm still not 100% sure if he's even going to show up tomorrow or not. But anyway, let's take a quick look. Let's see. Bill Clinton's profile. This is his profile. 12.3 million followers at Bill Clinton. See if he's got anything on here with regard to his testimony tomorrow from February 17th. So he's talking about Reverend Jesse Jackson, so that's not related. All the way back to February 8th. Nothing in between. Lee Hamilton, nothing to do with it. Let's see. Here's an email. This probably references it. Let's see. What do they talk about? Okay, yeah, so this looks to be related. What DOJ has released thus far and the manner in which it has done so makes one thing clear. Someone or something is being protected. We don't know who, what, or why. We do know this. We need no such protection. It's why only the Clintons have called for a public hearing. And Bill Clinton reposted that message. And this individual, Angel Urania, was replying to 50 Shades of Way. In March 2025, the FBI discusses internally the clear and specific guidance to redact images of former U.S. presidents, Secretary of State, and other celebrities. Well, that's a bit sketch. If that was happening, Monday, March 17th, 2025. Says, "Good morning, sir." Of course, they redacted all the names. IMD RIDS requests guidance redacting photographs. Who is protected under this transparency task? As mentioned before, we need guidance to redact 1B items. IMD RIDS is requesting clear and consistent guidance to process 1B items. Several boxes need to process, and sooner they have clear and consistent guidance, the sooner they can start processing them. 1B items contain photographs of multiple individuals to include the subjects of this investigation, Epstein and Maxwell. Needs clear and specific guidance to redact those photographs. Some depict victims, unknown, unidentified females and males, former U.S. presidents. I can take a wild guess what they're talking about. Bill Clinton, of course, Secretary of State, and other celebrities. I mean, look, Secretary of State, may that be Hillary Clinton, perhaps? I don't know. Again, we're going to get the video over the weekend. I somehow doubt that it will be, but she was a Secretary of State. The software does not have 1A facial recognition to assist with the identification of some of the public officials and celebrities. All right, so that's the email in question. Do you know what is the guidance? Okay, so they just follow it up with the same question. Anyway, so let's get back to his profile. I don't think that there's going to be anything. Oh, okay, so here we go. This is from February the 6th. This actually looks kind of familiar. I have called for the full release of the Epstein files. I've provided a sworn statement of what I know. And just this week, I've agreed to appear in person before the committee, but it's still not enough for Republicans on the House Oversight Committee. Chairman Comer says he wants cameras, but only behind closed doors. Who benefits from this arrangement? Okay, well, I'm assuming they're going to be releasing Bill Clinton's entire deposition as well, because we'll get to that in a minute. The House GOP, they do confirm that they're going to be releasing Hillary Clinton's full video, which it's like, dude, why not just have it out in the open from the get-go? I mean, why are we playing these stupid games? Are they going to just very cleverly cut out certain parts of it, or are they just going to be very brazen about it? You're just going to be watching it, and all of a sudden the time at the bottom right corner just suddenly half an hour skips ahead, and like, dude, what the hell? Anyway, I will not sit idly as they used me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by the Republican Party's running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and do it the right way in a public hearing. All right, whatever. So I guess only time will tell. He's going to be getting deposed tomorrow. So in short, yes, he did call for a public hearing, but he did not release any opening statement thus yet. But it's not to say that he's not going to. Hillary Clinton released hers just before she appeared, so maybe Bill Clinton will do the same. I'll be on the lookout for that tomorrow. And from Andrew Colvey, breaking, House Oversight Chair Comer says that Hillary Clinton deflected over a dozen times when asked about ties between her family's foundations and Epstein. And then he gives a quote, so let's just hear it in the video.
Lament on that, but we're going to not release too many details of what happened today.
Why?
We're going to try to get the video out as quickly as possible, hopefully within the next 24 hours.
Okay, so we're going to get the video out as quickly as possible, but we're not going to talk about details. Why? If the video is going to come out regardless, what's the problem? It almost sounds like that they're going to be doing a lot of redacting in the video. And I think he does mention that we're going to get the full video, but is it really going to be the full video, or is it going to be the full video by definition of the federal government, meaning that we're going to get like a 15-minute video, when in reality she was testifying for like 7 hours.
Very long deposition, so as quick as we can get that video produced, we will get that out. The transcript will be released as soon as her attorneys approve it. That's the standard rules of a deposition.
Which means as soon as they all redact them.
I think this was a productive deposition today. I think we
not according to Hillary Clinton
learned a lot.
She said, I don't know jack shit.
There were a lot of questions that we asked that we weren't satisfied with answers that we got, but we will continue to move forward. Any of my colleagues, every member of the committee asked questions, and
I would just say one of the things I learned today is if you really have specific questions about the Clinton Global Initiative or the relationship between the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you got to ask Bill Clinton.
And that's a great point.
Tomorrow.
The number of times that she said, "I don't know, you'll have to ask my husband," was more than a dozen, and I'll put it like that.
If I can,
Go ahead,
if I can just hop in. Also, too, I think it's important to note that we have been
That's
working in
my
a bipartisan fashion to make this as painless as possible for the people that we're bringing in, but also to ensuring that there's accountability and transparency. You will hear a lot of spin, sometimes out of politicos in Washington, but the fact is that it's our goal and objective following this, and we also, too, did ask for follow-up from the Secretary on producing legislation that will help prevent this from ever happening again in the future, obviously working to combat trafficking, which has been a cause incredibly important, not just to myself, to Chairman Comer, to Representative Nancy Mace, but many members of this Oversight Committee, And so we are looking forward to continuing to provide that transparency. And Nancy, do you have anything?
Okay. I mean, as long as they provide full transparency, because they're supposed to, according to the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And we've got this from the Oversight Committee. No one is above the law. Secretary Clinton is appearing for a deposition today after Republicans and Democrats approved a motion to subpoena her for testimony as part of our investigation of Epstein and Maxwell's crimes. So it looks like this is going to be prior. So I decided to include this because maybe we'll get possibly some questions that they're going to be asking her. I guess something we can look forward to once they release the video.
And the motion was amended by Scott Perry to include subpoenas for various names. I think there were 8 names originally, including Bill and Hillary Clinton. Everyone that was included in that subpoena has already either been interviewed by the Oversight Committee.
Well, where's their videos? I want to see their videos.
That they had never met Epstein and had no knowledge of the investigation, except the Clintons. We worked for 6 months to get the Clintons to come in, and then they
kept stonewalling.
Acted like they were going to come in, and then they didn't show up. And obviously,
playing games.
moved to hold
I thought you didn't play games, Hillary Clinton.
And I think one thing that surprised the Clintons, they assumed the Democrats
she described this as political gamesmanship. Why'd you keep stalling?
In a partisan manner and not vote to hold the Clintons in contempt. And what they learned was a majority of the Democrats on the committee either voted to hold the Clintons in contempt or voted present. And I think that's a statement that this investigation is serious. It is a bipartisan investigation. The American people have a lot of questions. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many, if any, questions about their knowledge or involvement with Epstein and Maxwell. Again, no one's accusing at this moment the Clintons of any wrongdoing. They're going to have due process. But we have a lot of questions. And the purpose of the whole investigation is to try to understand many things about Epstein. How did he accumulate so much wealth? How was he able to surround him?
Probably Les Wexner. That's probably how he accumulated most of his wealth, because Les Wexner, I can't remember exactly what he did, but he's a billionaire. I think he lives in the state of Ohio. He's like one of the richest people in the state. And there was a period of time that he allowed Jeffrey Epstein to oversee, like he gave him, I don't know if it was power of attorney, but he gave him full authority over his estate. Billions of dollars that Jeffrey Epstein had access to from Lex Wexner. And did he pocket a lot of it? It sounds like he may have. I mean, he had full control over that money for a period of time, at least according to Les Wexner.
Himself was some of the most powerful men in the world. Was he an asset for our government or any other government? These are the questions that we're going to ask over the next 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to get some answers. And as always, we're going.
Look, that's a question that Hillary Clinton might have known the answer to, since she was the Secretary of State for a period of time. I mean, wasn't she the Secretary of State during the entirety of the Obama administration? So, look, that was probably after, because wasn't he supposed to be like some CIA asset like back in the 90s or something? So that's definitely something that Bill Clinton would probably know. Is he going to answer accurately whether if he was or not? I don't know. You'd think that they would have gotten some answers from the CIA. You'd think the CIA would have been included in the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and we would already know the answer to that by now, but I guess not.
Release the transcripts. We're going to release the video as soon as everyone has approved it. The normal process in a deposition is the attorneys would have the opportunity to review the transcript and review the video to make sure that there are no errors. And this is going to be a long video. This is going to be a long deposition.
Who cares?
Today will be a long deposition, I would assume, and tomorrow will be an even longer deposition. Every member of the Oversight Committee is going to have questions for the Clintons, as well as our trained staff that do nothing but depositions. So after our hour of questioning, we're going to send a couple of members of the Oversight Committee out to be able to give you an update of what's going on and answer some questions. So with that, we'll answer a question or two, and then we'll go back to the
my first question would be, why are you really having this behind closed doors? Epstein Files Transparency Act, why are you not making this public right now? What names are you afraid of her saying? that would just be my initial question. Of course, they're not going to answer that.
Are you
I guess it'd be a waste of a question.
There has been a cover-up of sexual abuse of a minor by President Trump. There are missing FBI records that appear to be.
No, we're looking into the accusation by the NPR. We don't know the answer to that. We know what the administration says. We're still looking to get a definitive answer on that. But look, is
that all they're going to be asking questions about? Trump this, Trump that?
If you go by a lot of what the Democrats have said,
trying to muddy up the water.
Jasmine Crockett
cover for Hillary.
Accused Lee Zeldin of taking donations from Jeffrey Epstein. It was the wrong Jeffrey Epstein. We've had Ro Khanna sit on the floor and name names of people that he thought were involved in Epstein that weren't even involved.
Yeah, well, we do know that Hakeem Jeffries, he solicited donations directly from Jeffrey Epstein, the real one.
So,
among other Democrats, probably a lot of other Democrats.
Go ahead, Chad. Yeah.
And probably some Republicans too, to be fair.
I understand you say that this is different with some of the members or some of the people who were subpoenaed who didn't have a direct contact. But some folks have said it seems like the Clintons are basically on trial here versus people who know more about the, what was going on with Maxwell, what was going on with Epstein, and that this is really kind of dragging them through the mud when there are other witnesses.
Let's
Dude, we've seen some pretty alarming photos of Bill Clinton. So, look, the whole Hillary Clinton thing, whatever. If they never subpoenaed her, I don't think it'd be the end of the world, even though she was Secretary of State for a period of time, even though that was post most of Epstein's goings on. Maybe not. Maybe he was up to a bunch of stuff tied with the government in some way or another. Maybe that would be a valid reason to bring her in. Look, the main person that, at least that I'm concerned with, is Bill Clinton, to see what comes of that tomorrow.
Address that, Chad.
Would have loved for that to be public because I got the day off tomorrow, man.
The Democrats
it would have been nice to watch that.
With the Republicans to hold the Clintons in contempt. So the Democrats have just as many questions for the Clintons as the Republicans. So this isn't a partisan witch hunt. This was a bipartisan motion supported by the Democrats to bring the Clintons in. So I don't think it's any type of being unfair in any way.
Well, didn't Hillary Clinton say that the 8 names that they had subpoenaed were all Democrats, or there were no Republicans? I'd just be curious to know. It would have been nice to hear Hillary Clinton give some names as to who should they be subpoenaing them, or then as far as the Republicans. I know that, of course, she's going to throw out Donald Trump. Of course, they're all going to throw out Donald Trump. Who else? Who else is out there on the Republican side that should be dragged in front of Congress and called to testify with regard to Jeffrey Epstein? I mean, that's an honest question. If you know, drop it in the comments, because I would definitely like to look that up, especially tomorrow, because Bill Clinton's testimony, we're going to get this whole thing all over again tomorrow night on The Swamp, because we're going to be getting these statements and everything after Bill Clinton testifies. So I'd sure like to know, like, what Republicans should they be subpoenaing to testify about Jeffrey Epstein?
To the Clintons, they've never answered questions, unlike President Trump, who gets questioned every day by just about every one of you about his knowledge or involvement with Epstein. To my knowledge, the Clintons haven't answered very many questions. We'll do one more question. Go ahead.
In the spirit of bipartisanship, would you then ask the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to come testify? It seems like
that's a fair question. There you go. That's one. Okay, yeah, I will absolutely agree with that, because he lived right across the street from Jeffrey Epstein, if not next door. I can't remember if he lived door to door or if he lived across the street, but they lived within eyesight of each other's front doors. And so, and according to Howard Lutnick, well, I never talked to him. I mean, come on, dude, you guys were next door neighbors, for crying out loud. And plus, there was some other scandal that happened with Howard Lutnick. Maybe they might, with the end of this question, maybe they might actually give some details on that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, there's something questionable about Howard Lutnick and Jeffrey Epstein.
That's very possible, and I think it's a good possibility that his name will arise in some questioning today.
It'll be on my list, and I have an email I printed off for Hillary to ask about Howard Lutnick today.
Okay.
So
God's watching.
I would certainly hope so.
We're asking again, and I want to remind everyone: we've already brought in Alex Acosta and Bill Barr for deposition. That's 2 Republicans in the Trump administration. So This isn't just about Democrats.
Yeah, I don't think Hillary Clinton mentioned Alex Acosta, but she did mention Bill Barr, and I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton said Bill Barr was the only Republican that they brought in. Or maybe she was just talking about attorneys general specifically, but I'm pretty sure that was the only name she mentioned.
This is about anyone that has any knowledge of Epstein, the investigation. I think we all agree the government failed. The government failed the victims. And what our role is, we can't prosecute anyone. But what we have been doing is getting transparency to the American people. We subpoenaed the estate. That had nothing to do with the discharge petition. We subpoenaed the documents for the estate. That's what the victims asked us to do. And what you're seeing is there is accountability finally happening. You've seen at least a dozen very powerful people, men and women, who have already resigned, many in disgrace from their board positions. So
yeah, well, that's not good enough.
But we have
a lot of these people should be criminally charged.
Accountability. We want to get the answers, and hopefully the next 2 days will be a step in the right direction.
And you know nobody's going to. You think Bill Clinton's going to get criminally charged with anything? Look, even if Bill Clinton like goes in there and he's like, yeah, I did this, I did that, you know, yeah, I participated in this, that, and the other. Do you really think that they're actually going to put him on trial and convict him? No way that's going to happen, because we live in a two-tiered justice system.
One more, and then
that being said, I mean, Hillary Clinton has said she has no links to Jeffrey Epstein. She doesn't recall.
Yeah, she does. Through her husband.
So what
are you talking about? And she was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. She admitted to that.
You'll see. I mean, we're going to ask a lot of questions, but with respect to...
There's no way she never met Jeffrey Epstein. Not possible. Nobody believes that.
We've all seen the unredacted documents. Maxwell is the main co-conspirator. No one
probably why she deleted all her emails.
More women in,
bleach, spit, and acid wash.
More women about what was going to happen with their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein than Ghislaine Maxwell. We know that obviously Maxwell was a guest at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. There weren't many people that went to that wedding. So again, we're not accusing Hillary Clinton of wrongdoing. We know that Jeffrey Epstein said many times in emails that he was the first person to raise money for the Clinton Initiative, the Clinton Foundation. That, he solicited money.
Didn't Hillary Clinton head up that foundation?
For the Clinton Foundation. Again,
but she never talked to Jeffrey Epstein, though.
Illegal,
even
but
though he was her primary
there
donor.
Are a lot of questions pertaining to Secretary Clinton with respect to Epstein and his involvement in the Clinton Initiative and her relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell. So we'll come out every hour when we get finished, and different members will update you.
All right. Well, if the video does come out tomorrow, the full deposition, I'll definitely make mention of that, and I'll drop whatever links that they provide. I'll drop that in tomorrow's episode in the description. And I guess we'll just take it from there. I don't know if I'll have an opportunity to watch that over the weekend, but I'm certainly going to watch it at some point, maybe on Monday. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But it sounds like it's not going to come out until maybe Saturday, if not even later than that. I mean, it wouldn't exactly surprise me if it never comes out. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all either. All right, so what do we got next? Well, we do have this from Gaina Fauci. Hillary Clinton, I don't recall ever meeting Jeffrey Epstein. And then Jeffrey Epstein in this email says Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. So look, that doesn't directly mean that he specifically hung out with her, spoke with her, spent time with her. Maybe he attended an event. But look, dude, like Jeffrey Epstein is not going to attend an event that Hillary Clinton's at and not meet her, especially when he's donating God knows how much money to the Clinton Foundation. So this is, it sounds a bit sketch, though, that she probably did meet with him, and that would mean she lied under oath. But look, even if they do determine, in fact, that, like, if they can prove, if they dig through whatever, which they're not going to because they've already released everything, at least they claim that they have with regard to photos. If there was one that they uncover with Hillary Clinton standing with Jeffrey Epstein, do you really think that they're going to drag her in for perjury, lying under oath? I highly doubt it. I really don't think that they're going to do anything about it, which is probably why she just didn't give a shit, probably. So anyway, let's see what this says. So coming from Jeffrey Epstein to, of course, it's redacted, meeting today. No problem. Let's go for a walk when you are finished with Eva on Tuesday, September 20th, 2011. Redacted wrote, meeting has been added with the CEO of Unilever. Not sure I will be able to get there in time, but I am free after lunch with Eva for a bit. What's your afternoon like? I mean, what is this? I mean, it doesn't sound like a victim to me. Anyway, so the follow-up is the car will pick you up. Eva is on 85 and 5th. And the top, let's see, roger that, cruising with JoJo. I mean, where's the part where it says, wait, yeah, here we go. Duh. It's highlighted. Tuesday, September 20th, 9:18 a.m. High heels, walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. Does Eva live close to you? Hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. What does that have to do with anything at all? Why would he just throw that in there so randomly? That's kind of weird, but it's from Jeffrey Epstein. And then he followed it up with another email saying the car will pick you up. Okay. All right. Whatever. We'll move on to Rep. Nancy Mace. Ghislaine Maxwell attended her daughter's wedding, and her husband flew on Jeffrey Epstein's jet regularly. Secretary Clinton is a terrible liar. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Of course, Bill Clinton talked to her a lot about Jeffrey Epstein, and there is no way, as good of friends as Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein were, there's no way on God's green earth that they would have never met. I mean, nobody freaking believes that. Anyway, Fox News breaking: Hillary Clinton tells House investigators in prepared deposition testimony that I do not recall ever encountering Jeffrey Epstein. It looks like that there's going to be an article. I'll just repost it because we already heard her statement where she already made clear from her statement, probably not the truth, that she didn't have any affiliation directly with Jeffrey Epstein. But I'll have that link below if you want to check that out. And from RNC Research, Bill Clinton in 1998, y'all remember this? I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. So let's hear it again.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Yeah, and that's probably how the deposition is going to play out tomorrow. I did not do this. I did not do that. I never went here. I never did that. Because, yeah, as we just heard from the lawmakers, they don't have any ability to file any indictments or arrest anybody or do anything criminally to them. And Hillary Clinton, I never met with Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. So, yeah, just basically mirroring what her husband said back in 1998. And from Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. So, anyway, that's the end of the whole Hillary Clinton, nonsense. And I guess we'll just have to wait for the transcripts and the video to come out.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out The Swamp, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, with segments dropping on the daily. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.